Good morning, YouTubers. It is August 31st, 2019, and these are your morning announcements. The lovely and talented Mr. Hug is with me today, and we are driving in the oh-so luxurious Honda Element today.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert?
Nerd alert.
Are you going way down to 60th?
Yep.
Okay, well, we need to be there by 8:30, so I don't know. Do we have time to go all the way to 60th? Okay. Alrighty. So, it is a beautiful day today. It's actually kind of chilly. When I woke up this morning, it was 50 degrees outside, and I was like, woo, chill in the air. But, it is, pretty nice. Now, did you let Crosby out at all? Okay. Good, because I didn't. He didn't, like, bug me about it today for some reason. Usually he gives me, like, a like, you know, I want to go outside. Oh, no, I did go outside. I take that back. I did go outside because I took a picture out there. And we have a wedding today and a rehearsal dinner to set up at work. And so it's going to be kind of a light day, all things considered, which is fine. That's fine. I had fun last night in some live streams. I want to tell you guys about a live stream that, a channel anyway. It's called Scratchin' the Itch. And it's not scratching, it's scratchin'. With no G at the end. Scratchin' the Itch. And they're out of Minnesota. And they are a lottery ticket scratching channel, which I enjoy. I don't know, I find it very relaxing to watch people scratching lottery tickets. I don't know why, but I do. And it's a fun group of people that hang out in there, and there was networking going on, so that was nice. But what I like about Scratchin' the Itch's channel is they play a game where you have to pick a number between 1 and however many people are in the room. So if it's 15, it's between 1 and 15. You pick a number. And if your number is the number that gets pulled from the hat, then that lottery ticket that he's scratching, you can win whatever he scratches off, up to $25. Anything over that, he will split with you. So if it's a $100 winner, you're going to get $50. So that was fun, and I got to get one ticket scratched because I picked the number right, and of course I wasn't a winner because I never am, but it was still fun. And there's lots of like audience participation. Like he'll go out and buy like $300 worth of lottery tickets, and he lets you decide as a group. You know, he lets everyone vote and decide which ticket's going to get scratched next. So there's like all this great little audience participation going on, and the conversation is fun, and he and his wife are just really adorable, and they work together as a team to do this, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed hanging out with them. And I also was in Lisa Free Spirit's stream yesterday, and I adore every single person that comes into her channel. I mean, they're all just really great people. So friendly, so uplifting. Like, I mean, and that's, as brothers and sisters of the Spirit, that's exactly what we need to do for one another, is we need to lift each other up. We need to help each other through these hard times. Not focusing on the self, but focusing on the people around you, you know? And the karma grows, and it grows, and it grows, the good karma. So, yeah, it was delightful being with them last night. Okay, something really funny happened. It was funny to me. Anyways, I thought it was funny. Lisa's talking away, and all of a sudden her doorbell rings. She jumped like she was going to fall out of her chair, which made me laugh really hard, and I farted. And of course, because I can't keep that kind of stuff to myself, I had to say, your doorbell scared me so much I farted. And then J-Dub Vlogs was like, me too. And I'm like, oh, that's love. That's love when people are like in sync together so much that they're farting at the same time, right? And this conversation turned into all kinds of crazy, stupid stuff, but it was very fun and funny. And I mean, that's exactly what we all needed. I think everybody was kind of like on this I love you, you love me kind of vibe last night in there. Lisa was saying that it was because of the new moon. Everybody was in kind of a lovey mood. But and it wasn't just on her channel. Like I said, I was also on Scratching the Itches channel, and everybody was lovey there. I went over and visited One Love's channel for part of one of her lives. I was working, so I wasn't like talking while she was doing it, but everybody was all lovey in there and lifting each other up. And it seemed like every live stream I visited yesterday, everybody was just kind of lifting each other up. And I think people are just getting darn tired of all the hate and negativity. It's time to turn that around, man. But, in Lisa Freespirit's defense, because I really want to talk about this, she's got it. So, you guys, if you've never taken care of somebody who is dying, you have no idea how freaking hard that is. When you're watching somebody who was your friend, who was strong, who was this ball of light and life in your life, just deteriorate down to nothing. When you're watching an extraordinary life leaving, that's hard. And for the people who are doing the palliative care or who are there to be a friend, that is rough. Rick and I have been through this with his father when he was dying, and with my grandmother as she was dying, with his grandma while she was dying, with my grandpa when he was dying, with my father when he was dying, where we had to sit and watch, and there was nothing we could do. We could give them the most basics of comfort, like by helping them get them some water, or open up a pudding for them to eat, or whatever. It was all this little stuff, but we could not save them, and nothing that we could do was making any kind of difference to make things better, except for what was going on up here with them. And our presence there was highly appreciated, because we made them feel like they were not alone. That's the most important thing you can do for somebody when they're in the throes of death, is not turn your back on them. But to do that, you have to subject yourself to a tremendous amount of emotional bombardment. It's hard. Watching your dad die was hard. Here he was. He was this little ball of fire, wasn't he, Rick?
Yep.
He was this little ball of fire with all this energy. Nothing stopped him, and it stopped him. And Rick admired his father his whole entire life. He was my father almost as long as my own father was my father. And watching that was rough. In fact, it got so bad that I couldn't handle it anymore. Rick had to do it on his own. I couldn't. It had gotten me to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't. And, it's embarrassing to say that. But thank God Rick is a stronger person than me, and he was able to make it to the end. I made it just about to the end, but I couldn't be there in the final moments. But what Lisa's going through right now with Mary is hard. Nobody can understand it except for her. A about how difficult this is to her emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I remember when my grandma was dying. And my mom, who is a saint, who says very little bad things about anybody at any time, okay? I watched her taking care of my grandma, and I jumped in and helped whenever I could. But I wasn't there 24/7 like she was. She was there literally all day and all night with my grandma. And my mom got mean. For the first time in my life, I saw my mother angry, like in a mean kind of way. And that was because she was stressed to the max. She had nothing left in her to give to anyone else. So everything else that was happening in her life that was outside of my grandma was rough on her. She was short-tempered. She said mean things to me that she's never done that in her whole entire life. Believe me, it took me back. I was just like, what? It'd be like, I don't know, who could you even compare my mom to? It would be like Betty White flipping out. That's what it reminds me. I mean, my mom is so sweet, okay? But she had flip out moments where she got mean, and I was just like, whoa, you know? But that was the stress. She was under a tremendous amount of stress watching her mother die. This woman who had been the anchor in my mother's life her entire life, who she had a great relationship with, was dying. And this person that my mom looked up to for her whole life couldn't even remember her name in the end. So how do you think that made her feel? What kind of stress do you think that put on her? Lisa Free Spirit is going through the same thing. And this isn't the first time for her. Okay, she went through this with her own mother. And she's been telling us all along, this situation is bringing up feelings from what I went through this with my mother. So it's not like she's just going through it with her friend, Mary, but she's going through it with her mother again, too. You gotta understand that. You have to understand that. And the emotional baggage and hurt and fear that brings out, of course she's gonna flip her shit now and then. She's a human being. And this is probably the end for Mary. And I know that is rough on Lisa. You know, she's getting palliative care now at home with home hospice. They're keeping her comfortable. And the inevitable, however long that takes, is her body is going to give out and she's going to cross over. So until that time happens, it's a waiting game. And the waiting for death is almost as hard as death, isn't it, Rick? I mean, when my father was dying, we had to wait for him to die. And it took a while. With my grandma, we had to wait for her to die, and it took a while. With Rick's dad, we had to wait for him to die, and it took a while. And that was stressful. So, I want everybody to say some prayers for Lisa right now, and for Mary. You know, that Mary has a very peaceful crossing over, and that Lisa has the strength to stand by her friend until the end. And then when that fateful day comes, we all need to surround ourselves with Lisa. We need to surround her with prayers to God for her. And we need to surround her with love and with light and with true friendship. True friendship. True friendship is when you weather the storms together. Even when the other person might be at their worst. You weather the storms together. you offer them the help that they need. Not the help that you want to give, but the help that they need. Very important. And to get that knowledge as to what they need, you need to pray. I'm sorry, but you need to pray. You need to let God show you that. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say today. I love you guys. I love you all. I do. I love you all. I will weather the storms with you. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And take care. Mwah. And bye-bye.